Hiya guys, and welcome back to A's Workshop. I say guys, don't I? Hiya guys. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're guys, girls, whatever you are, whether you consider tag yourself as a vegetable. It doesn't matter what you are. If you enjoy watching engineering videos, you're more than welcome here. So, that said, let's get on with this video. Right. Power feed on the mill. I've had a few comments since the first video where I bored out this gear in the timing gear, or the cam, what do we call it? It's a cam belt type gear, and it's not a cam belt. We'll call it a timing gear, timing belt type gear. Lost for words, but yeah, you know what I mean. Right, why are you putting it on this end? Because you're going to lose the graduated scale. So if your DRO messes up, or you, for whatever reason, you can't use the DRO, you've lost that ability. And yeah, I take that on board. Good point. So I was thinking, right, okay, so I could put the whole assembly on the other end, but that'll take up too much room on the bench. Let's take you and show you what I'm talking about. Please excuse the mess, I haven't tidied up in a while. Yeah, I've got a hand wheel on this end, and if the motor was all stuck out here, and when the table's fully across, the motor's going to be over this area, and it's going to encroach more on the bench than the table does even now. So I do want to put the motor on this end of the table. So that said, plan was to put it on this hand wheel here, which means losing the graduations. I'm wondering, the bracket here on this end, and the hand wheel and all it, this one's got two bearings in. I'm wondering if I could swap the hand wheel round. So the hand wheel with the graduations is on that end of the mill, on the far end, and the plain handle is on this end. Another good reason why I want to have the power feed this end, want to have the controls this end. Reason being, I have spent more years than I care to mention on a Bridgeport. On a Bridgeport, left and right feed here on a handle, feed box underneath. I can't put it underneath because of the bench, but it would feel weird if I had my controls that end, so I want to keep it this end. So I'm going to look at swapping the lead screw round. Let's see if that's possible first. Must be nearly there now. There we go. That's the lead screw out. Okay, let's put that safe without marking it. Whoop. So what I want to see now is if the bracket off the other end has the same configuration of holes as this one would do if I put it the right way up. It certainly does. Things are looking promising, guys. So I've pretty much taken the lead screw out, completely swapped it round, brackets and all, hand wheels and all, and now I've got the plain hand wheel on this end, which isn't going to lose anything if I machine it down and put a pulley on it. So that's the plan. I've swapped the whole thing 180. And as you can see, this end now has the scale. So I probably wouldn't have swapped the lead screw round the other way. I mean, it's running a different way in the nut. If the lathe had had any, I'm thinking about the lathe next. If the milling machine had had any wear in it, because obviously the nut would have worn to the screw, blah de blah. But as you all know, this mill, it's had very little use. It's, you know, it's, what have I had it? Maybe 6 months, maybe a little longer. And it's, you know, not had a chance to bed in or what have you to the lead nut, that sort of idea. So yeah, just pop the hand wheel off, we'll put it up in the lathe, we'll skim it to take the pulley that we machined earlier. So plan of attack, that's got to go on there. Obviously it doesn't at the moment, that's too big. This is going to be my gauge, that's my part I'm going to be turning. Let's get that fitted. Okay, so that's all smooth, there's no lumps and bumps. Jaws are clean. Let's put the pulley up in there. Well, that wasn't a bad guess. Reverse jaws in. Let's have a look at that. Oh, okay. Difficult to show on camera. That's wobbling about like a dick in a welly. Back face is flush. OD looks good. Bore, like you see that's throwing as well, probably about the same amount as this. I think what I'm going to do is hold it on this OD and we'll skim the hand wheel, because the hand wheel isn't doing anything. We want the bore and this diameter to be right for the pulley, so the pulley isn't throwing. So, I wonder, perhaps we can just pull this down somewhere near. Not too much. Let's have a look at that. Well, I can already see that the bore is running true. That OD that I'm holding on is running true. I think I need to skim this and the OD to get everything running true. Whoever made this handle or hand wheel, it's probably a Friday night and a few rice wines, I think. So yeah, I'm basically going to skim this back face. And actually, while we're on the subject, this intersection here in this hand wheel is actually, alright, there's a few dinks in it, but it's quite sharp. I think I want to do a bit of blending here, and I might put a bit more of a radius on this top edge as well. So I'm going to be improving the look and feel of the hand wheel at the same time as actually making it run true. So just like that. What you can see is throwing like, well, we've used the term once, I'm not going to use it again. It's wobbling about a bit, isn't it? Let's have a look. That's probably about 4 thou cut on there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's probably out of square by about 10 thou. So yeah, we'll skim that lot. So it actually took, don't know whether you can see, I might have to bring you off camera there, let me see the readout. I don't know whether that's visible up there. 0.25 it took to clean it up from touch off. So yeah, I'm going to do pretty much skim across the top here, and I think I'll do a bit of blending just to make it nice in the hand, and we'll go from there. I just filed a nice radius on there, put a bit of Scotch-Brite on it. I got a little, well, basically hand graver here. See if I can get you a better view. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing here, I think. So basically, speckling a radius in there to make it nicer on the hand. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, that's, yeah, that's much more pleasant. In fact, the whole thing feels much more pleasant than it did. So, a little bit of Scotch-Brite, brown Scotch-Brite. I don't know the different colours of Scotch-Brite. The brown is a sort of medium for me. I've got a white which is basically does nothing, is a polish, and I've got a black which is yeah, pretty coarse, but this brown seems to be the one of choice for me. I'll sort of use it as a polish. And I'll probably put a bit of white on there, just do that corner again. Obviously if this grabs, it can just pull out of my fingers. I'm only holding it in my fingertips. Right, okay, so now I can probably spin it back around the other way. You know what, that feels just, it's nice in the hand. It's, you know, it's just better. Yeah, I mean it is, it's just, you know, if it looks good, it feels good, it is good. Yeah. There are the school of thought, and a few people used to say it that I'd heard when I was a youngster in an apprentice school. If you can't make it right, make it bright. So, it might be a thou under, but if it looks good, yeah. But that's not strictly the way one should do things, is it, guys? Anyway, let's have a look. Let's see how we are looking. that's running as true as I can see by eye. No wobble. I do a fingernail. You know what? If there's a wobble, you can feel it. You can. I can. There's some lumps and bumps in there. And obviously there's a keyway in the bore, so I can't do the fingernail test. But yeah, I'm going to say that that's all nice and true now. So we're looking for a nominal 30mm, and that's a nominal 45. So we want, I'm going to take 7mm aside off, which will give me, you know, 31-ish. That was a harsh touch. Okay, give myself a 0. So 7mm aside will give me 14mm off the OD. I'm going to go a mil at a time, which is there. That'll take 2mm off the OD. And we're literally just going for it. We're getting somewhere near now, with another last 0.2, something like that. I've got it on power feed. The motor's going nice and slow. It's not as noisy now, the little power feed motor down here. When you're going slow, it's not bad. And of course there's no load on it. We're doing this on aluminium. We'll just knock it off as we get to the corner. I've already placed the shoulder. And I'm just creeping towards the 30mm mark. As you can see, 30.23. I'm going to take 0.07 aside and we'll give it a try. Here we go. Feet back on. Squirt. There, we can wind it up a bit on the speed, I think. We're going to get 1200 on 30mm. Tiny little chips. In this instance, I am going to creep up on it rather than try and do progressive cuts to a size, because I've got a gauge basically, so I'm just going to scratch until the gauge fits. Yeah, there's a million ways to catch a monkey, as they say. That's the back shoulder. Let's have a look where we are. 30.15. Well, you know what, I didn't use a calipers, or well, all I used was a calipers to gauge this size. You know, it was nominal. That's a mile away from fitting. I'm going to take 0.05 aside. Will do. And we should be close-ish. I mean, it's not critical, but you don't want the, you know, the pulleys throwing around. You're going to be varying the tension. It's going to affect the smoothness of your feed. So, yeah, in some way, shape or form. So, if you aim for perfection and you're a little bit out, the next step down to perfection is pretty damn good. So always aim for perfection. And if you miss it, it's still pretty damn good. If you aim for pretty damn good and you miss that, it can be bordering on awful. Anyway, enough philosophizing. Of course, if it's a dimension that doesn't matter a hoot, then you're wasting your time. But so that's showing 30.05. And I've lost my pulley. Oh, there it is. Ooh, it's thinking. 0.02 aside, I think. Try to play with it, and now it just bits on. I have got a shoulder big enough to put these bolts in, that's good, but the distance between the pulley and this space is not big enough. Where are we? I'm hoping to be able to have that pulley, here we are, big piece of 10mm plate, as you can see, adjust. Now I want a bit more clearance than that. I'm hoping to have this plate as the backstop and that pulley to pass through it. So yeah, I'm going to skim this pulley back, the main pulley back, flush to the undercut and put a radius on the same as I did on the other side to give me a bit of working room for the width when I come to mount it all. So yeah, back off with that. And I need to put a 45 on there, I'll do that a bit later. And the same on that shoulder. Well, yeah, the brake edge is going to be. So yeah, I want to skim this down now to intersect with that, you can see a little undercut in there. The intermittent you can hear is the tapped hole for the handle. But, yeah, we're just gonna whiz it off. Okay, so that's that done. Let's have a look. There's that piece of alley. Oh, loads of clearance now. Yeah, probably, I don't know, maybe 3mm, something like that. Good. Happy days, that's the hand wheel sorted. Okay, so that's the first bolt in. Exactly the same method. I'll just spot the second one. Pop the gear back off and I'll drill and tap the second one. Okay, so that is the pulley bolted securely and fitted and running true to the bore of the spindle, and the hand wheel is now running true as well. I'll just nip that on there temporarily. I can already feel, yeah, I'm going to have to shorten those bolts just a tad as well. Probably take 5mm off those. Well, there we are, we get the general idea. It's all bolted up now. That is all solid there. Lead screw swap round and the pulleys on this hand wheel, which is a much nicer place to be than it used to be. So, happy days, move on. So my belts have come in, and I've just slipped a pulley on the motor. So let's just see how we did. Generally, eyeballing that up, I'm a bit less than I was planning. I can't remember what I was planning, 110mm, something like that. And I bought a 400 belt. Nice round figure. So yeah, so my subplate to hold all this, I think I'm going to have a piece of aluminium, 240mm. So 240, and just put these to one side. So the idea being, let me grab a piece of aluminium. There it is. Look around the camera. So I'm going to put a piece of aluminium, 240mm long, with a hole in it, the shape of that, to clear. Probably bolted on with 2 screws, one either side. And just, well, 1mm below surface. So that, you know, I haven't got an obstruction. So I think that's what's the next procedure. It's to chop a piece of this aluminium for the main plate on here, 240mm long, and it's going to be screwed onto there with a big hole in it to clear the slot. So there we are, guys. More and more parts are coming in. I've got some cable, I've got a junction box, I've got all sorts of bits and pieces now to start laying out the electrical side of things. Still working on the mechanical at the moment. As you just saw, we've got this plate we're going to cut 240mm long with a you know, a hole in it so that it can bolt to the bed, and I can use that as a sort of chassis or a base for building all the bits and pieces that's going to hold everything. So that'll be along in part 3. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.